Olá, sejam todos bem-vindos ao Hackathon 2022. Vamos já.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A journey to discover new possibilities has begun. Vodacom.
Sejam todos bem-vindos mais uma vez ao Hackathon 2022. É a nossa Liga das Nações. Já agora, aos que nos veem online, as nossas sinceras desculpas pelo atraso. Tivemos aqui alguns problemas técnicos que acreditamos que serão compensados com a energia que esta sala vai trazer durante as 48 horas mais ou menos. Iniciamos a Liga das Nações. Como sabem, de princípio não há futebol que inicia sem o hino nacional. Então quero convidar a todos, a National Anthem não. Quero convidar a todos para ficarem em pé para entoar o hino nacional.
Na memória de África e do mundo, pátria dela nos ousaram lutar. Moçambique, o teu nome é liberdade, o sol de junho para sempre brilhará. Moçambique, nossa terra gloriosa, pedra a pedra construindo um novo dia. Milhões de braços, uma só força, ó pátria amada, vamos vencer. Moçambique, nossa terra gloriosa, pedra a pedra construindo um novo dia. Milhões de braços, uma só força, ó pátria amada, vamos vencer. Povo unido do novo alma culto, colhe os frutos do combate pela paz. Deixa o sonho ondulando na bandeira e vai lavrando na certeza do amanhã. Moçambique, nossa terra gloriosa, pedra a pedra construindo um novo dia. Milhões de braços, uma só força, ó pátria amada, vamos vencer. Moçambique, nossa terra gloriosa, pedra a pedra construindo um novo dia. Milhões de braços, uma só força, ó pátria amada, vamos manchando teu suor, pelos montes, pelos rios, pelo mar. Não choramos por ti, ó Moçambique, nem o tirano nos irá escravizar. Moçambique, nossa terra gloriosa, pedra, pedra, construindo novo dia. Milhões de braços, uma só força, ó pátria amada, vamos vencer. Moçambique, nossa terra gloriosa, pedra, pedra, construindo novo dia. Milhões de braços, uma só força, ó pátria amada, vamos vencer.
Ok, convido a todos a sentarem-se. Não vamos levar muito tempo porque já conseguimos estourar alguns minutos com uma boa parte técnica. Gostaria de chamar o Simon para fazer a abertura oficial do nosso evento. Simon, on stage, please.
Bon dia. A bit more energy. Bon dia. That's really good. I'm so excited to be here. I didn't actually think that there was going to be so much interest in the hackathon when we started. So first, I want to say a big thank you to all the participants of Hackathon 2022. And also want to say a big thank you to the groups that we have here. I went around and I saw that the groups have some amazing names. There is the professors. I don't know why they call themselves the professors, but I think they have to win. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of problems with the name professors. There is the masterminds. Woo! I'm not sure what they are masterminding, but whatever they are masterminding, I hope it's going to be innovative and change our company. And then I met the travelers. I don't know whether they are time travelers or futuristic travelers or here with us. But the time travelers, I hope whatever you're doing is really the future. You're traveling to the future and figure it out with some great products. And then I met the tuna team, who I thought was going to change the face of how we do point system in the company. But I wish they had a better approach. I don't have any jokes approach. And then the smart IT girls. I wonder what happens when they get a guy with the smart IT guys. But it's really, really interesting. And then the disruptors. That's symbolize everything that we do, which is to disrupt the organization. And then the last group that I met was my favorite name, which is It Works on My PC. I love the name, right? Which is, it's usually what happens, right? It works on my PC, right? It doesn't work anywhere else. So I'm hoping that whatever they're developing is going to work in other places, not just on your PC. But jokes aside, I want to say a big welcome and congratulations to everybody who has got this far. For us at Vodacom, innovation is part of our job. One of our spirit values is to create the future. And to create the future, we have to do it. If we stood still and we didn't do anything, by now, we wouldn't be where we are today. This company is on the forefront of innovation, not just innovation, but everywhere. We are the people that are able to put the mobile phone in the hands of people in Quran. Last week was in Quran. Quran is a village somewhere in Indonesia. It takes you 5 hours to drive on a very dead road, very rough road to Quran. When you arrive in Quran, you use mobile phones and do something. I'm going to continue in that spirit of innovation, making sure that not only do we design great products, but we also design new experiences. For me, innovation is not just about products. It's about working through the experiences of the user. I always say this when we think about iPhone, when we use because not only is it a great product, it's also a great experience. It's a great user experience. And the guys who knows me, I am very particular about user journeys and user experience. One of the things that we're looking for is the experience with the customer user, the user journey, user experience, how it makes customers feel when they touch and use. I think that is very important, embedding that in our design thinking, in our design process. But I'm going to say thank you because for us as an organization, you guys are the forefront. What you do here is what is going to decide whether we are number one in the market and continue to innovate in the market. So please don't take what we're doing lightly. Most of your products will get to market, and most of your products will change the lives of our customers. So you have all my support, all my encouragement, and once again, a big thank you for getting this far. And I know that everybody's going to do well. Congratulations and well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you. The some of your projects are good. So now I'm calling Keith for words also. Keith.
Good morning, everyone. Bon dia. So I think this was a very encouraging and very motivating speech from Simon. At least it was for me. So I have nothing to add to that. But then I was thinking, if I'm here listed as head coach, so I was thinking, what is my role here? So I was thinking about the typical sports matches that you do. But I've always learned we need to start with some warming up. So please, can you stand? Let's start with a warming up. So Patricia and maybe Rui, you guys can help me lead the warm up. So please come here. Do we have some music? Maybe? No? Okay, so then we just put the beat into our own mind. So let's start by doing maybe 2 quick rounds, jogging around the table. So 2 quick rounds, please. Let's go. So don't worry, we won't take your chairs away. Don't worry, it's not this kind of game. Okay, don't sit down yet, please, because after you've done your exercises, I've learned you need to do some stretching. So now I'm not very good at stretching. So Patricia, do you know a good stretch? No, I only know this one. Yeah, but I'm not very good. So can we do this one? Oh, Simon is leading the stretching. Follow Simon's example, please. What's your name? Where you from? Who you claim? Tell me what you wanna do, yeah. Okay, do you have your heart racing already? Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot. You can before you sit down, can you lower the music? Okay, before you sit down, one more ritual that every game, especially if it's an international one, that happens. You go and shake the hands of your opponents. So I'm asking all of you, please go to every table, shake the hands of one of your competitors, your colleagues, and wish them a good game. Okay, once you're finished, you can please sit down. Okay. Colleagues, you can please sit down, assuming that you have shaken the hands of everyone. Okay, just like Simon, I'm super excited to see each and every one of you here. Super excited about all of the plans, all of the things that are in plan for today and tomorrow. Very excited about all of your ideas, and I'm very, very keen and very excited to see the outputs. Hopefully, a couple of days from now. So, only one final word from my side: may the best team win. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Keith. I'm sure that we'll have space for questions in the next days. So, switching to our agenda. Ok, este evento de princípio não seria possível sem o patrocínio dos nossos incríveis sponsors. Temos a AWS, acho que poderão ver nos vossos materiais que ainda estão por serem entregues. Temos a Accenture, temos Nokia e Oracle. Então, agora iremos ver muito em breve o vídeo de introdução da AWS. Okay? Enquanto isso, sai o Expo.
We're entering a phase where data is prolific, and access to it is almost instant, helping us to connect globally, innovate rapidly, transform entire industries, and even improve our planet's health. New 5G networks will usher in an era of ultra-reliable low-latency connectivity and the capacity to connect billions of devices. AWS and communication service providers are leveraging the pace of innovation in the cloud and reinventing how we build telecommunications networks, while low Earth orbit satellites are set to bring affordable broadband, helping roll out 5G networks to the most remote parts of the globe. In parallel, cloud services are pushing beyond the bounds of our traditional AWS regions, closer to where data is generated or consumed. These AWS edge computing infrastructure and services help customers build applications that require ultra-low latency responses, improving the application performance and customer experience. Since AWS pioneered cloud technology 16 years ago, our cloud infrastructure has continued to grow, now spanning 25 geographic regions and 81 availability zones across the globe, with 17 local zones in major metropolitan areas and 24 wavelength zones at the edge of 5G networks, bringing the power and benefits of cloud computing to where customers need it. With ubiquitous connectivity and extensive access to cloud computing, we can offer every school equal access to the same learning tools, every business affordable digital tools so they can innovate, grow faster, and create local jobs. We can cure diseases faster, provide access to healthcare equitably, and even monitor the impact of development to our environment and accelerate disaster relief, saving lives, changing lives. Together, we can unleash a world of use cases that simply aren't possible today. Ubiquitous global connectivity and anywhere access to cloud computing are the foundations of a truly connected world. AWS is helping to build that.
Ok. Percebemos que online há um bocadinho de problemas de som, estão a ser resolvidos. Espero que estejam a ouvir o pouco do que estamos a falar. Ah, ok, vamos para um pequeno game. Conseguem, quem está online, fazer o scroll down até ao fim da página? Please scroll down to the end of your page. You can see we are going to see the word cloud. Ok, como é que está a ser o hackathon? Qual é a vossa energia quanto ao hackathon neste momento? Daqui a nada temos a nossa masterclass, a primeira masterclass, e vamos em breve a um pequeno intervalo. Ok, entertaining. Almirante, hi. Olá, quem me cumprimentou? Good vibes, innovation, fun. Okay, this is what we'll make sure we have. We must have fun. Everyone who is in the room must have fun. Okay, keep the words coming. I would like to announce our first masterclass. I don't know if Marco is ready, mas como todos conhecem, o Marco é o nosso guru de segurança cibernética. Se eu não tenho WhatsApp no computador, hoje é porque o Marco anda por aí. Então, ah, teremos o Marco a falar brevemente sobre cybersecurity. É muito importante que as aplicações que nós desenvolvemos estejam de acordo com as nossas regras ou as regras mundiais de segurança cibernética. Então, Marco, consegue ouvir-nos?
Já me conseguem ouvir e ver?
Nós conseguimos te ouvir muito bem. Como é que estás, Marco?
Estou bem, um bocadinho nervoso, porque isto não é masterclass, nem eu sou guru. Estou preocupado com essas palavras, mas tudo bem.
Não, fica tranquilo porque o som já chega aí, então estou muito tranquilo. Marco, acho que já
Deixei de ouvir o Almirante. Não sei se é porque estou a apresentar já, mas espero que sim. E vou proceder com a apresentação da secção de Cybersecurity. Eu preparei os slides em inglês, mas acho que a apresentação estava a ser em português e vou fazer a apresentação em inglês, mas posso responder a quaisquer perguntas em português. Se houver alguma correção que queiram fazer à minha apresentação em termos de língua, peço que o façam agora. I'm going to start in English, okay? This is the presentation I prepared for the hackathon in terms of cybersecurity for Vodacom Mozambique. So to start off, I would like to start with our vision, mission, goals, and values. Okay, we have a vision in which we have a company where security is common sense. Okay, and the mission we have is to be the most secure company in Mozambique and upcoming group. How would we achieve that? No major security incidents. We have security incidents every day, small and minor ones, and have all incidents, even those small ones, fixed within SLA. We want to attain the ISO 27001 certification. And we also have something called CSB, Cybersecurity Baseline, which has a few points that make us responsible to release the best products in the market, where security is a key feature. That's why I'm here to talk about that. And we also want to have at least 40 members with top level security certifications, probably, hopefully highest in country. Our main values are visibility, transparency, and adaptability. So creating the best solution, the best solutions, and how is Vodacom Mozambique protecting the clients? let's go into that a bit in a bit more detail. So what are the risks that we see in terms of products and development of products or new products and solutions? So we can tell you that attackers are constantly scanning our networks for vulnerable applications, programs, instances, and the latest flavor of the month or maybe the year is APIs. And there's a prediction by Gartner that seems that APIs will be the most common attack vector this year and probably over the next one. And these threat actors are so persistent. Uh, when you have a new app, it can be compromised within hours of deployment. So we need to be aware of that. Reaching into the, I would say, statistics of that, 13% of breaches, okay, were caused by errors and misconfigurations. Okay, but the most relevant factor is the human factor that amounts up to 82% of the incidents. So it is becoming very, very clear that the only way to truly fortify the software being created is to ensure that it's built on secure code. And have a look at this list, guys. You guys like to do this stuff. You come. Why do you come into work every day? Why do you wake up and come to the office? See if you can relate to some of these things. I got this from a developer that has 10-year plus career, and it seems to me that these are the few things you guys like to do. So I see here interesting things, creating something, learning new stuff and evolving, making a work of art. So what defines a work of art? Something really good, right? Really interesting that people look into and say, wow, this is really amazing. This is really something. And getting things done. You guys like to get things done. So how does all of this, some of these things here, uh, relate back to security? So let's move a little bit to the next slide, and maybe I can answer some of those questions. So what does all this mean to our client? So I think before we go to the client, we need to ensure our own security here in our premises, in what we do on a day-to-day. That's why we're here. And sometimes we're a pain for you guys, but we're really trying to do the best for the company and for the client mostly. Um, so how do we do it? We do continuous testing and remediation, but we're not software developers. We don't know how to develop. We don't know how to create those amazing solutions you guys create. You guys know how to do that. We would like to be able to do things as you guys do, but we can't. We can only help. But it's a journey, right? We have to be together on this. We hope that we can make it fun, but I think Vodacom has lots of training platforms to help everyone understand a little bit better. We need to understand development better. Development also needs to understand security better. So secure by design, that's our goal. We need to be secure by design as a company. We need to launch the best products out there that are secure or in which security is a key feature. So imagine, I'll just leave a question for you guys. What would you guys prefer? To spend an extra few days, hours, maybe, hopefully not weeks or months, in development, or having a really good and secure product that is resistant to threats and attacks? You launch the product, you have to do some tweaks here and there. You don't have to take it out of production to fix big issues. Remember, uh, if you think about that and relate it back to the customer, will the customer care about this? Of course not. I don't think the customer will care about our process, about you guys, or our team in cybersecurity being involved with development, or you guys knowing how to develop secure products. They won't care. But the customer will care if his private data is published without authorization on the internet. The customer will care if the product is not available due to attacks or security remediations. And the customer will care if he loses money because of a flawed product. So these are simple things that I thought of, or that we thought of, that come to mind quickly when we think of attacks and products and service to our client. But bear in mind that these are only a few of them. There are many other things. Think of it. You have been in the client's shoes. You don't want to have a product that puts your information out there, your bank account number, your credit card number. And we want to develop solutions that use all of these things, right, to ease the life of our client, but we need to do it in the best, safest way possible. How to do that? That is a question we need to answer every day. So we're here to help and to learn with you guys. That's why I was saying Almirante made me a bit nervous when we said it's a masterclass and I'm a guru. No, it's a learning journey. Okay, let's learn together. We're here to help and assist as well. So moving on, some ASCII art for you guys there. So are there any questions? And thank you for your time. Thank you for taking a bit of your time to listen to us.
Yeah. Uptown Chris. Yeah. Angelina, you the cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I no go fall in your hand never. So now me you could love forever. I'm a cocky no feeble letter. I'm a Angelina, I'm a Angelina. Oh me all down. Anytime when I see you for the club or the television, your body. Sure you know say the thing when you carry 50 kill somebody. You know I feel a vibe, you feel a vibe, so baby whine about me. Yeah. And I know you shy, but it's cool when we're making love. On the low, 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 on the low. Angelina, you the cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I no go fall in your hands never. So now me you could love forever. I'm a cocky no feeble letter. I'm a Angelina, I'm a Angelina. This your body where you give me, they make me one day do like a gonna go like a gonna go. Sasha make you give me shit on, they make me one day do like a gonna go like a gonna go. Make you no go do go need my baby, go need my baby, go need make you no go do go need my baby, I do go need my baby, go need I love you more to pump on my honey, other way you the bungalow my body, my name girl this one no funny, it's a miracle, oh yeah come test my money, I carry you, oh yeah come meet my mommy, it be you where the ginger my body, me I don't go so deep, sitting is with my body, in the air, so good, so do you want my honey, sweet past body, I'm a day you my honey, you the thing gonna go my body, you the thing gonna go my this your body where you give me, they make me one day do like a gonna go like a gonna go.
miracle. Your body a miracle. Oh, baby, a miracle. I know my done day. Choro, 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 ja, choro, 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 ja, choro, 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 I'm a choro, ja, choro. Oh, hell yeah. I don't wanna lose you this time, I win it. No time, I'm gonna winnie, wanna your love, they do me one time. Oh my, I'm getting mommy. Show me how you feeling this night. Almost say your love, say I'm winnie, wanna your love, they do me this night, yeah. I need your grace, me never relent, my love no get shame, no matter the case, my music give me bass, my sweet bass, say my love no get shame, for you all day, every night, every day, me gon' need my baby to call on me, close to me, yeah. By the time when you dey wake up in the morning, man, I dey buy you cyphery, make you fall for me. Oh yeah, choro, 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 ja, choro, 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 ja, choro, whoa, whoa. You won't keep it.
When they call you, you know the answer. I say make I call you some more. Yeah, you leave me no choice, so very soon I go appear for your demand. Then you had that tight dress on. When I saw you last night at the club, even though I had my dark shades on, I was looking at you all night long. I'm in the middle of the street. How did I ever let you leave? Oh no, why did I drink this Hennessy? And I don't know what come over me, and I just want to make me come body. Don't want to lose it to nobody, no. My body no go free, and I don't know what come over you. As you see me, so I know about you. I swear to God, you can come out to, oh, you can come out to.
I know you want me. Everything I told you when you're lonely. Yeah, you see, you think you know me, but you don't even know nothing about me. Yeah, it's in my thick thighs. Lost when you look into my brown eyes. See my little ways can make you switch sides. You never know the devil in a disguise. So why don't you stand up, baby? And tell me, do you want me on top? So let me show you. I don't need to back it up. Don't wanna hold you slow, just split you in half with my heart. I just wanna love on you, trust in you, honor you, please do the same on your part. Be honest, you want it, but I can be heartless, regardless of my conscience. Be honest, you want it, but I can be heartless, regardless of my conscience.
People they talk them majesty about the way your body twisting, make me lose control in a this thing, boy. And it's happy cause I'm thinking of us. Don't go throw me under the bus. Under respect, I'm under your love. I don't know why nobody want me. They say my baby today do me bad. Put your heart inside my goodie bag. If I do you bad, I beg you make you know do me bad. Give me one time, one try, be mine this time. Take time, same time, make we know they waste time. Girl, I never lie, you already know I'll be honest.
You want it, but I can be heartless, regardless of my conscience. Be honest, you want it, but I can be heartless, regardless of my conscience.
Tell me nah. I know say them go play on my downfall. I'm still a winner. Me never let them play on my banjo. Tell me nah, oh nah. Don't know why they pray on my downfall. But when I then go play on my banjo. Never. I got a reason, I got so much to give. Shower them blessings, now my cup's running over. I know they give a man more than what he deserves. Cause they see they buy the hand where they feed them. My baby telling me to post for the media. I rather believe I gon' talk my nature. Melody sweet, but you know, say man so G'd up, yeah. That's why the girls then follow the leader. Got so many blessings that they can't tonight. Yes, stop and make a movie, no man take my shine. I never tell you all the days I had to sacrifice so my whole life. And I go do anything only for my family. I got the thing to make your body do the no linger. Make a girl come through, making plays all night, all night, all night. No concern, now everybody dancing for me. I'm on the move, no be keke, now everybody asking for me. I dey go call it waiting, Baba God, they dancing for me. Lost, now fine. So we can sing amazing grace all night. I know say them go play on my downfall. I'm still a winner. Me never let them play on my banjo. Them oh na na. Don't know why they play on my downfall. But when I them go play on my banjo.
My baby they confuse me with that bomb. But she get the guy where they send that money from London. They see me like a Johnny just come. Yeah. My monkey they walk it, baboon he just the chop. Me I go chop all the washing, as long as you give me my passion. Baby make you know they rush me, I beg you make you treat me with caution. Leg over, my baby give me leg over. Hangover, baby she dey give me hangover. Hey, let go. Oh no, make give me let go. Hey, game over. She do can't give me game over. Hey, I dey confuse you. I dey confused when you turn around, baby. You dey make her confuse. You do all I like a Cameroon, mesmerize the boy and baby make her confuse. Commando, you be commando. You dey command the boy. You the overload. Yeah. I know fit stand alone. I must call my guy. We for rendezvous. Yeah, I go chop all the washing. As long as you give me my passion. Baby, make you know they rush me. I beg you, make you treat me with caution. Leg over. My baby, give me leg over. Hangover. Baby, she dey give me hangover. Hey, leg over. Oh no, make give me leg over. Hey, game over. She dey can't give me game over. If you give your heart to me, I no go let you go. Where I no go do you, basa, baby, trust in me. When you give your heart to me, I no go let you go. Where I no go do you, basa, baby, trust in me. I go do your body like skin tight. Where I go do you by your side. 10 times when I no get to sneak out. You dey by my side. So make a day your body like skin tight. We are gonna dey by your side. Cause 10 times when I know get to sneak out. You dey by my side. Oh na 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 na. Hey, my baby. Sweet you. Hey, my baby.
For you in the ends, it's a real thing, me not pretend. Steady with me round town in the Benz, oh girl. You got me sitting on the bench. You know I've been calling. You don't wanna answer me, baby. I've been calling. You don't wanna answer me, yeah, baby. I've been calling. You don't wanna answer me. All day I've been calling. You don't wanna answer me, yeah. Girl, I've been falling for you. Falling down by the wayside, girl, I've been falling, my love. Even a man, them calling me always man. Seeing how you're wanting, you know they give me warning. You put me on a long thing, we ain't even talking. You ain't even online, but Girl, you got me locked in. Give me one time, baby girl. Give me one time. Make a rewind all up to your time, no time. Don't play no games. I'm waving a white flag for you. Don't play no games. Cause you know say I'm falling for you. You know I'm calling. You don't wanna answer me. Baby, I've been calling. You don't wanna answer me. Yeah, baby, I've been calling. You don't wanna answer me. All day I've been calling. You don't wanna answer me.
When she come for the area, say all the man them do ajo, all the boys down kulugu. Say let them dance kulugu. You feeling me, baby, while I'm golo. I'm the king of the kunto, and they loving the way I do this uncle. Yeah, I'm a kawal and jogodo. Say that baby, come be mine now. I don't mind shit down. You know the days you don't take. I don't mind shit down. Say baby, give me your love. I don't mind shit down. Because I love you with all my heart. Go romance me now. Oh, wind up, hey yeah, oh my, school, Tadiana, oh mama, oh father, oh nana. I said no other, Asia, China, you know I wanna control ya, oh ja, oh my. Now we in the eyes of the oh my God. If you give me love, I give you more than oh my God. If you want me, girl, I want you. Oh my baby, what you do, I do to you. For like you give me love, oh. Now you the catch my shot, oh. For your sake, I go touch you. Hey. We go drive around for my Porsche. Baby, pana. They say you like you all, I get you all. Baby, pana. Anywhere that you go, I can follow you to go. Baby, pana. They say you like cassava, I get to be cassava. Hey, baby, pana. My love for you will never die. Will never die. If I ever, oh baby, if I ever. Baby, you too sweet, if I ever. Oh baby, dance it to the lagwaja. Make a take you to Babalada. If I ever, oh baby, if I ever. Baby, you too sweet, if I ever. Oh baby, dance it to the lagwaja. Oh, make a take you to Babalada. So love is a beautiful thing. Can you they cool my temper? Love is a wonderful, tender feeling. You they give me ginger. So baby, dance it. The beauty in your eyes, they give me life, oh. I could give the Lord the thanks, oh. For the sake of love, oh. Baby, leave it about the bad, oh. And I'm leave it about the rubber. Oh, for your sake, I could kill you, show. Show you love that you never seen before. For like you give me love, oh. And you might play ball, oh. Now you the catch my shot, oh. For your sake, I go touch you. Hey. We go drive around for my Porsche. Baby, pana. They say you like you all, I get you all. Baby, pana. Anywhere that you go, I can follow you to go. Baby, pana. They say you like cassava, I get to be cassava. Baby, pana. My love for you will never die. Will never die.
This one I better do with the jabata. Me, I no get time, I did da. Dada cover my face, calling me la ba down. Biggie man, we know they wear a ba da. Tell me, my nigga, what's it gon' G-Wagon, all depend. Take your time, ride the whip, I no feet. G-Wagon, all depends, the girl them, ride the wind, I know feel, die or not. Make you no say anything when you do, they must commend it. I can't come and keep myself. So anything when I do, I try to do on my way. I can't come and keep myself. Plenty so far we face. Just to make sure money day. But my people then go say I know one buy, I know one die, I know one payment. I want enjoy, I want job life, I want buy motor, I want build house, I still want to know. Tell me, my nigga, what's it come? G-Wagon, all the Bentley, the girl them, ride the whip, I know feet, die for nothing. My nigga, what's it come? G-Wagon, all the Bentley, the girl them, ride the whip, I know feet.
Hey, I'm trying to get paid, take money, cash checks. You see the set, that's Lash, that's Dex. Young C, Young Shorty, Milcavelli, White Bricks, True Religion, on the telly, it's me. Wiz got the house full of freaks, that's why I haven't been around for a week. I'm getting pounds in my sleep, I'm at the top of the mountain, it's peak. Bring it back before the villain. I had a life, real talk, true religion. It's in the blood, in the jeans, in the stitching. Walked in, no weapon, made a killing. Tongue kissing, pretty women. New iPhone cause I'm done with all the bitching. Trying to be in my position. Keep my shades on cause they're trying to see the vision.
She tell me, bad man, see I need your love. See I need your love. Me need you close to me. Me tell her say me, oh stay on the road. Bad energy stay far away. Make you stay far away. Just give me love for the night. Give me love for the night. Yeah, waste no time. Do me, you get the way you they do me. You they do me pass it down now. This bed do make me feeling so, so great. I believe in magic. The thing you do me not the matter. I dey feel like make a maintain. Oh, say for the bed do I be father. I'ma show my cool me down. Whoa, whoa, cool me down, down, down. Yeah, yeah, cool me down. Whoa, whoa, cool me down. Yeah, oh she bad. I'ma like she bad, oh, whoa, oh she bad. I'ma baby me she bad, oh, whoa, 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 oh she bad. Kilo she bad, oh, oh she bad. I'ma baby me, I'ma me, oh. I'ma show my cool me down. Whoa, whoa, cool me down, down, down. Yeah, yeah, cool me down. Whoa, whoa, cool me down.
Olá. Acredito que já estejam todos a me ouvir. Não sei se ainda temos algumas pessoas aí na sala online. Tivemos aqui alguns problemas técnicos. Por enquanto encontramos um plano B. Então, enquanto verifica-se o cenário dentro da sala, iremos manter-nos online aqui. Só gostaria de informar que o schedule irá continuar como estava previsto. Quero anunciar logo a seguir o vídeo da Accenture. Como nós dissemos, temos aqui 4 parceiros estratégicos que permitem que este evento aconteça. Então, Andrea, please Accenture video.
A spectrum of digitally enhanced worlds, realities, and business models are emerging. Welcome to the Metaverse Continuum. As we reimagine the internet, enterprises must prepare for what's next. Soon, our physical reality will be as programmable as the digital one is today. As synthetic realness evolves, the question of what is real will be found in authenticity. Rule-breaking, horizon-shaping computers are already being built. The time is now for businesses to harness new and emerging tech. Come, meet me in the metaverse. A spectrum of digitally enhanced worlds, realities, and business models are emerging.
Ok, estamos de volta. Muito obrigado à equipa. Agora nós teremos uma pequena conversa com a nossa equipa de AWS. I will introduce to you Benon. Benon, I don't know if you can hear me.
Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you.
Welcome to Mozambique, even virtually, but we are excited to have you here.
Thank
How are
you.
you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I have visited Mozambique before, and it's a lovely place. So love it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Excited to talk about this thought experiment that I've had on my mind for a while.
Okay, that's awesome. So Ben, and the stage is yours. We won't take much time. So please, the stage is yours again.
Okay. Thank you so much. I hope everyone can hear me. I can't see who's in the room and who is listening, but I'm hoping that you can all hear me and see the presentation, the joys of the virtual world. So what I want to talk about today is a thought experiment I've had in my mind for a while. I've traveled through a couple of countries. I've done a couple of integrations, mobile wallet integrations, and what I find is that, especially for M-Pesa, for example, which is the most widely used wallet, possibly globally, but especially in Africa, is that if you go to Mozambique, there is M-Pesa, but M-Pesa is limited to Mozambique, purely because of legal reasons and obviously other uh, uh, corporate reasons. Even though there are other Vodafone group companies in different market units, so DRC, there's M-Pesa there. Now, when you go transact M-Pesa in DRC, you cannot use the same account in Mozambique. Similarly, in Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, and the like. And the third experiment I have is, what would it take to have M-Pesa be like the US dollar, where you can use it in any of the market units where the Vodafone platform is, and all you need to know is that all you need to have is an account in your home country, and you can transact and buy goods and services across any of the market units. And that's how this presentation came about. Let me go to the next slide. Now, what I'm going to go through is go through what is a current setup for each of the market units. And from the single market unit setup, which is we currently have, there is a view that we should go to a multi-market setup. So we have a platform, M-Pesa as a platform, and then there are instances of M-Pesa that are deployed in different countries. I'll go through that, and then I'll talk through the integrated multi-market setup that I feel can be enabled by blockchain. I know my presentation is named blockchain. However, me coming and talking about blockchain in generic terms is like me coming and talking about the internet in generic terms. So just want to go through a particular use case that may probably be more topical to the audience. And then I will just talk through how the strategic drivers are still the same, even though we have the integrated market unit setup that I propose in the thought experiment. Now, this is the thought experiment that I went through at the beginning. So at the top, there is the list of countries, and this could be all African countries that have M-Pesa, the M-Pesa platform. What if regardless of which country you are in, or you have traveled to, you have access to the M-Pesa platform. You have access to all the, here on the left hand side, all the capabilities that M-Pesa offers, the anti-money laundering capabilities, the fraud prevention capabilities, or the like. And then internally, obviously, the typical API payment engines. You're able to do international payments regardless of which country you're in, as long as they have the M-Pesa platform. And you also have access to the different engines of retail, or the other payments integration to the different core banking systems in the country. What if you could do this, and what would it take to actually have this, right? And that's what I want to walk through. And the setup that we have at this point, which I alluded to at the beginning, is that we have a per Mac unit deployment. So we have M-Pesa that is deployed in Mozambique, and it is curated to serve the Mozambique market. And there's a huge advantage to this kind of setup in that the operations that are running M-Pesa in Mozambique are very well aware of the needs of the market unit, so they can tweak the platform to make sure that it works as the market actually needs it to. And that's why, that's one of the key reasons M-Pesa has been so successful. You're able to meet the needs of the people at a very low cost and have the platform be adopted widely. And obviously, because you deploy per market unit, when it comes to regulatory and compliance, it's a lot easier. It's not like you're trying to um, um, conform to multi-country regulations. You have deployed in Mozambique, and therefore you only have to comply with the Mozambique regulations. And obviously, the converse of that is you have a platform that is multi-country. Therefore, you have to satisfy a lot of country regulatory requirements, which is difficult. So this setup has worked up to now, and the next step is to say, why would we not have a setup that allows for multi-market support? So instead of having to deploy in every market unit individually, let's deploy and have a central platform that is then customized in a particular country to meet those needs. And that is doable, and that's what a lot of platforms do. And I think Vodafone is going through that process with M-Pesa. And however, the key, the advantage of this system is you still serve your customer base as you would normally do with a single instance deployment. However, the challenge is that now you have to make sure that you have this central operations team that makes sure that the whole platform works well. But however, a lot of things stay the same. Regulatory is going to stay the same because you're still, in essence, deploying in one market unit. Now, however, the challenge though is that you are not able to transact multi-country. You can't go from Mozambique to Kenya, use the same M-Pesa wallet and do transactions there because there's still a geographical limitations as to how you can do that. And so for me, in this thought experiment, I propose a platform that has between the APIs, M-Pesa APIs, and the channels that I use, a smart contract integration platform. And this is a blockchain platform where you have, instead of, which abstracts the different countries from being seen as separate, and I'll explain that in the following slide. And now, if you saw that before, I had the countries here on the right hand side in that they were separate, but here in this setup you would have a layer. The countries are seen as a layer where they all consume these same APIs across the different market units. What separates them and makes them seem like they're separate countries is the fact that this layer here, or this blockchain layer, which is a series of smart contracts, prevents what regulators would have a problem with. And I'll go through how the advantage of a setup like this would be, in that because you are you have an integration platform that is cross country, you end up being able to share integrations with other market units. I'll give an example of this. Say, for example, in Mozambique, M-Pesa has developed a logistics API, which helps track goods that are being transported. And the advantage of this logistics API, instead of having to pay with your Visa or Mastercard, you pay with M-Pesa. Now, that works in Mozambique very well. With a smart contract integration platform, what you'd be able to do is to say, Kenya could come to Mozambique and say, we like your logistics API. Would you share that with us? And now, the advantage here is that using the abstraction layer, Kenya would integrate into the Mozambique APIs, and they would still be using the Kenyan M-Pesa tokens, however, using the API in Mozambique. And that is one of the key value drivers for this kind of platform, this kind of integration. And the other thing is that, as I alluded to that example for logistics, all of a sudden you are able to offer more services to your customers without having to spend a lot of money on development in country. So instead of Kenya having to develop their own logistics API, having a lot of duplication in their country, which to develop a service that is available in another country, they can leverage what is already available in another market unit. Obviously, the commercial agreements between Mozambique and Kenya, that's something else entirely. However, time to market is much quicker. It's a lot more efficient. It's also a lot more efficient for the group. Now, the other thing is that because of the abstraction layer, someone from Kenya could actually come into Mozambique and still use their Kenyan tokens and have, as long as you have the smart contract layer in between. And how would that work? So you have M-Pesa in Kenya. Someone has a token. Let's call it a Kenyan M-Pesa token. You underlying that token, it has a smart contract underneath it that says, I am a Kenyan M-Pesa token, and I'm of a value X, of 1 Kenyan shilling. When I'm in a jurisdiction of Mozambique, the layer recognizes that this is a token from Kenya, of 1 Kenyan shilling, and the equivalent of that is half of a Mozambican M-Pesa token. And therefore, the person could then transact in Mozambique, and there will be that translation between the Kenyan token and Mozambican token, and the customer would none be the wiser. To them, they have the same experience that they would have in Kenya, and it works well in Mozambique. And that is one of the huge advantages of this. Obviously, in terms of regulatory compliance, there will be an added compliance problem, because now you have people from different countries being able to transact in other countries. You have to prove that there is no money laundering and the like. Now, however, because every single token can be traced from the time it is minted to the time that it is destructed, it is easy to actually do the auditing and tracing of tokens, because they cannot be, they're immutable in essence, and the contracts are immutable as well. And then the other advantage is that the shared operational costs, for example, instead of having in the first example that I gave, where there is a logistics API that is developed in Mozambique, but being used by or leveraged by other market units, you have shared operational costs across the market units. You could have, for example, Uganda decide that we are very good with I'll give an example of loans, for example, micro loans, or a type of loans, or a type of insurance, that we shall develop this M-Pesa product, and the other market units could pitch in and have share the cost of developing that product, and then share it across the whole all the other market units. And that would also reduce on the cost of developing certain products, reduce on duplication of products across market units, and increase efficiency, and reduce time to market. And I think this would be really cool. The question is really on what smart contract technology would be used to do this. There are several in the market that are mature, and I think to realize this thought experiment, it would be an interesting way to go. However, how that integration layer look like, instead of just putting one block saying integration layer, to my mind, you'd have still in the same way have the M-Pesa platform at the bottom, and you'd have in the middle here, you'd have sorry, apologies, you'd have a blockchain layer. By the blockchain layer, you don't have to have people now learn blockchain technology. You're still exposing the blockchain layer to M-Pesa platform via typical APIs, REST APIs. M-Pesa uses REST APIs. And internally, the blockchain has smart contracts that in essence execute the logic that helps make sure that you track or translate different tokens from different market units consistently to maintain the fidelity of the M-Pesa token. And on the top there, you have smart contract APIs. Now, these are still REST APIs. You could have them, they could, the difference here is that now the smart contract APIs execute contracts and they translate them to the M-Pesa platform. And this would be the layout of the smart contract integration platform that would allow for multi-country usage of M-Pesa, which would, I think, grow the use cases and the business uses for the platform across the continent, and possibly worldwide. Still, you have the countries as a layer. The only difference here is that I've just given more detail around what the blockchain layer looks like. Now, the strategic drivers for the platform remain the same, in that you want to increase customer usage, and you enhance customer usage even more in this case, because you're all of a sudden making a lot more services available to a particular market unit at a lower cost. You have merchants, obviously more merchants on the platform because they can do more. There are more use cases, and this doesn't take away from the curation of a particular solution to a particular country. It just enhances on what you can offer, and the ecosystem obviously blows out because there's a lot more people, a lot more engagements, and it's a much more dynamic platform. Obviously, security, fraud and security still remain, and I think in this case, it's possibly more secure because every single contract can be traced from the time that it's created and to the time that it ends. And the user experience is obviously enhanced because all of a sudden you have people being able to do transactions across countries, and also having more services that would not traditionally be available to them in country. Now, the requirements obviously still remain the same. And the reason I'm talking about these remain the same is that it is not true. It is not to change M-Pesa, but more to increase the use cases of M-Pesa. You're still going to be doing the provisioning, doing the transaction processing. You need to still prevent fraud, and there is still the typical token life cycle management that needs to happen. However, what you're doing is that you're abstracting the layer, the M-Pesa layer, and making it available in a more dynamic way across all the market units. And that is my short thought experiment. I wonder whether people have questions I can answer.
Okay, Benon, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. What a good findings you have there. I just want to see if we have some questions. Okay, we have no questions here. But Benon, so thank you for your presentation. I think our audience, if any question comes, we'll make sure it comes straight to you. So guys, if you have any question for Benon, if you have any curiosity about what he was presenting, please make sure you send it through so we can manage to make sure he has it answered for you. Okay. So thanks. We continue. I think you cannot see our hackers right now, but they are busy making sure that the future is being created. I would like to just check if we can see the photo booth, Andrea. Ok, guys. Então temos aqui o nosso photo booth. A Andrea vai fazendo aqui um scroll down. Por favor, façam um scroll down nas vossas telas. E podem clicar ali onde diz iniciar, onde diz start. Quando clicam no start, conseguem ter um espaço assim onde podem tirar algumas fotos. Já tem lá algumas fotos bem nice. Então, tirem as fotos e partilhem ali. Podemos ver algumas fotos de algumas pessoas que já estiveram cá conosco. Eu já consegui tirar 2 fotos. Então, let's go. Ok. Thank you, Andrea. Ok, agora avançamos para mais um momento. Gostaria só de ter o retorno da Luísa. Nós vamos agora conversar um pouco sobre o IoT e já ouvi que guru não se fala por aqui, mas acho que mais uma vez vou dizer, temos aqui a nossa guru de IoT, Luísa. Consegues ouvir-me?
Olá, Alan.
Olá,
Consigo
olá.
ouvir-te perfeitamente. E tu?
Também consigo ver-te muito bem. Ok,
Consigo
Luísa,
ouvir-te perfeitamente. E tu?
também? Como é que tu estás?
Não percebi?
Como é que tu
Olha, eu
estás?
estou bem. E
Ok.
tu? Como é que tu... Eu estou bem. E tu? Consegues me ouvir, Almirante? Alô? Alô? Hello? Não consigo ouvir a ninguém. Almirante, ainda estás aí?
Yep, estou aqui.
Ok. Perdido por algum tempo.
Ok. Let's go, Luísa, por favor, apresenta-te para a nossa audiência e vamos ouvir sobre o IoT.
Ok. Em primeiro lugar, só quero confirmar se conseguem ver a minha apresentação.
Ainda não, eu vou dizer-te quando estivermos a ver.
Consegues ver?
Yes, agora sim.
Ok, perfeito. Obrigada, Almirante. I'm gonna switch to English, right? I think it's better for everyone. So thank you for the opportunity to be here and speak to you all about IoT a little bit. My name is Luisa Custodio from Vodacom Business. So I had the IoT portfolio for Vodacom Mozambique, in Vodacom Business in this case. And I'm so honored to be at this hackathon. I have seen, and I had also the opportunity to be coach at this hackathon. So that is very, very great ideas. And I'm hoping that for the next hackathons, we'll have some IoT initiatives here. So today I'm gonna just talk to you a little bit about what we do in IoT in Mozambique, why are we doing IoT in Mozambique, and then some of the key projects that we are working on, and we hope to count with the amazing minds that are here to help us overcome some of our challenges. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring you a little bit of context. So basically, we started focusing in IoT in 2018 and mainly working on the connectivity space. And as you can see from the value chain of IoT, you need, yes, the connectivity, but there is other components of the value chain that are also important in order for us to deliver an end-to-end solution for our customers. So as a telecommunication company, we were very well known on the connectivity portion of it. Every IoT system needs connectivity as based. So we already played on that value chain. But the question then was, how can we become more relevant on the IoT space, basing with the base that we already have, the main component, which is connectivity. And we identified that one of the ways that we could be playing at the bigger picture of the value chain is actually be able to provide IoT solutions end to end by onboarding platforms, hardware, and services, so our customer could actually have the solution at the glance of their eyes, right? So that's basically a little bit of background why we do IoT and why IoT is very important for Vodacom, and not just Vodacom Mozambique, but the entire group. And then came the partnership with IoT.next, which is a very well known IoT player in the African market. And we partner with them in order to make sure that we could combine what we have with the best, which is the connectivity plus the platforms, and we could deliver end-to-end services to our end customers at a very rapid time to market, and with technology that was actually reliable, right? So moving forward, one of the important parts of the journey is that make sure that we experience those solutions within our company, that we as Vodacom Mozambique, we are able to say and to see the values of IoT solutions. So in this case, we decided to start two main projects internally, which one was the smart building, making sure that we could actually have visibility of different components of our building in order to improve efficiency and reduce costs, mainly on energy management. So there's a lot of focus nowadays around energy efficiencies, energy management, and that's basically what we set up ourselves to do, implementing an IoT solution end to end. So we were able to integrate with the building management system that was already in the building, implement some environment sensors, and also energy meters. With that gives us a lot of inputs on how we needed to improve and optimize the way we use those resources inside the company. And the second project that we did also internally was the smart base stations, which also had the same objective. How can we be more efficient in the way we manage? How can we have more visibility and remote access to our sites? How can we actually make sure that we have efficiency around energy consumptions on the sites? And this was a very successful implementation that we did in some of our base stations, which we got around 47% cost reductions with only pre-cooling of the sites. I could go a little bit more in details to explain you guys how normally the sites operated in terms of air conditionings and fences as well, which they run all the time. 24 hours a day. And once we implemented the IoT components there and we integrated all the components that existed there, we were able to optimize how those air conditioners and fans were operating, and that brought us the results that we were able to achieve. And we are now moving to a second phase, which we will deploy the solution for more 100 base stations. So it's definitely with these use cases we are able to set ourselves and put out there in the market the benefits that an IoT solution can bring to the business and to people's lives in the end of the day. So I'm just gonna go a little bit around the key main projects that we are currently working. We focus a lot on utilities because we believe that it's a sector that impacts people's life every day and are basics for living. So we are now very focused on the smart metering projects to help our water companies move and migrate from prepaid to postpaid, because we all know there have been accumulating a lot of debts using postpaid on consumer side. So we are now working with them in order to do that migration. But we are also working from an electricity perspective as well, how we can support the electricity companies, making sure that the assets in terms of transformers they maintain and they are operating in a different lines of distribution. How can they monitor in a much efficient way those different lines of distribution of electricity to households? Nevertheless, the manufacturing industry as well is something that it's an industry that we are also focusing a lot. We are partnering with a lot of industries on mining and also on oil and gas, in order to better understand what are the challenges that they are facing in different streams, and how with IoT we are actually said we can actually help them beyond just the connectivity that we already provide to them. So these are some of the key industries that we are working, just to trigger a little bit of your minds in terms of what type of projects and technologies we can actually bring to different sectors and bring value. The trends nowadays are cost efficiency reduction, of how can we actually operate and how can the business operate in a much efficient way. And definitely IoT, it's the way to go. I'm just ending my presentation with one of our main focus as well, because as we all know, we have connectivity challenges in our country, and in order to for these main big companies and big players in the market, for them to actually operate in such a way, they need a reliable connectivity in order to support all those use cases that I was presenting and I was discussing on previous slides, to make sure that those use cases could run in an optimal manner. It's really important to have a very stable network. That's why we are setting ourselves and we move to have focus on IoT connectivity, mainly on mobile private network and also narrowband. This allows us to touch in to make sure that we can deliver reliable connectivity to our customers. Just to give you an example, we recently won the FLNG offshore platform contract for mobile private network. So basically what we are doing there is deploying a dedicated network to the offshore platform so that they can use in different use cases such as health and safety with smart vests, making sure that the connectivity inside the platform is safe and secure, and the use of data as well. So mobile private network is one of our biggest focus at this moment. We are also discussing with the ports because of the criticality of the operations that these companies have. They need a very secure and a very secured network in order to operate all these different solutions. So combining with the mobile private network comes the IoT solutions use cases that I just presented. So I think just for us to not go very much deeper in all these solutions. I'll end my presentation here, and I'm available for any questions that the team may have, any curiosities around the industries that we work and the type of solutions that we deliver. I'm available to answer any of the questions that you may have. Thank you. I hope Almirante, you are still there because I did speak a lot.
You didn't. Thank you, Luisa. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can perfectly.
That was awesome. Thanks for taking us through what you guys are doing and the big challenges you have. I guess we are all excited for what's coming next on IoT and
Definitely.
on your side, guys. We have no questions here, but I want to thank you for your time and
Thank
for
you.
everything you are doing. I think everyone has seen the IoT campaign, etc., etc., and congratulations on winning the CEO awards.
Thank you. Thank you. This is definitely a teamwork, and we are here to collaborate. We are here open for any ideas. So please feel free to reach out to us. I'm very happy that I'm on this hackathon so I can be with the teams and make sure that I leave them with a hint of the next challenges, what they can do around IoT and help us help our customers in the end of the day. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Luisa. Thank you. Thank you. Coming back to studio. Um, Andre, I guess we'll see the game now. Ok, então acredito que consigam todos ver o game. Temos aí 40, temos 1 minuto e 15 segundos para este game. Vamos mostrar brevemente como é que funciona. Andrea, if you hit the play, let's run a quick test for everyone to see it, how it works. Ok, temos aí algumas palavras espalhadas. Garantam que conseguem responder no tempo mais breve possível. Vejo que temos aí, por exemplo, Salah. Conseguem ver, então é pegar da primeira palavra, da primeira letra para completar a palavra. Já encontramos Salah, ok. E conseguem ver que o tempo está aí a fazer o countdown. Conseguimos ali encontrar o Eto'o. Então, lembrem-se que temos muitos prêmios para dar neste hackathon e tentem responder o mais breve que puderem, ok? Então, temos aqui um pequeno break. Nós vamos nos desligar por alguns minutinhos, mas voltamos muito em breve. Teremos um intervalo de 15 minutos, mas também iremos dar uma notificação pelo WhatsApp assim que voltarmos. We are going on break, 15 minutes break, but we'll be back in some minutes. So we'll announce using WhatsApp for everyone to come back. So those who are seeing us from out there, from the whole Africa, please stay here and we'll be back soon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. Sejam todos bem-vindos de volta. Sejam todos bem-vindos também os nossos hackers que estiveram num pequeno intervalo. Como dizíamos, este evento não seria possível sem os nossos sponsors. Temos a AWS, que é com quem estaremos a conversar nos próximos minutos, e gostaria só da vossa atenção para verificarmos aqui o pequeno vídeo da AWS. Let's play the AWS video, please.
We're entering a phase where data is prolific, and access to it is almost instant, helping us to connect globally, innovate rapidly, transform entire industries, and even improve our planet's health. New 5G networks will usher in an era of ultra-reliable low-latency connectivity and the capacity to connect billions of devices. AWS and communication service providers are leveraging the pace of innovation in the cloud and reinventing how we build telecommunications networks, while low Earth orbit satellites are set to bring affordable broadband, helping roll out 5G networks to the most remote parts of the globe. In parallel, cloud services are pushing beyond the bounds of our traditional AWS regions, closer to where data is generated or consumed. These AWS edge computing infrastructure and services help customers build applications that require ultra-low latency responses, improving the application performance and customer experience. Since AWS pioneered cloud technology 16 years ago, our cloud infrastructure has continued to grow, now spanning 25 geographic regions and 81 availability zones across the globe, with 17 local zones in major metropolitan areas and 24 wavelength zones at the edge of 5G networks, bringing the power and benefits of cloud computing to where customers need it. With ubiquitous connectivity and extensive access to cloud computing, we can offer every school equal access to the same learning tools, every business affordable digital tools so they can innovate, grow faster, and create local jobs. We can cure diseases faster, provide access to healthcare equitably, and even monitor the impact of development to our environment and accelerate disaster relief, saving lives, changing lives. Together, we can unleash a world of use cases that simply aren't possible today. Ubiquitous global connectivity and anywhere access to cloud computing are the foundations of a truly connected world. AWS is helping to build that.
Wow, what an amazing video. I guess we have Rindani on. Hey Rindani.
Hello, how are you?
Fine. Welcome to Moz. Welcome to our Hackathon 2022.
Thank you. I wish I was there live with you.
Next time we'll make sure you're here.
Yes.
So, hoping you are okay. I think the stage is yours from now on.
Okay, now I'm okay. If you can just confirm if you do see my presentations, and then I can kick off my presentation.
I do. Thank you.
Okay, now cool. Thanks very much, and then for giving me this time, and then to share with you about like the AWS infrastructure and the innovations after like you've listened to that video that you were watching. Unfortunately, I'm presenting online today, so I won't be available maybe to take the question after the presentation, but I believe we can always meet again. So my name is Rendani Chibangani. I'm a solution architect at Amazon Web Services, and then currently based in South Africa, Johannesburg. I'm a dedicated solution architect for Vodacom Group, which is including Vodacom Mozambique. So today I'm going to be sharing with you about like the AWS global infrastructure. And then where I'm going to be showing you how does the AWS innovate on behalf of our customers. So these are the few things that I'm going to be touching base and then looking at the time that we have. But like this is not going to be the end. We can always like and then engage again on some other platform. So some of the questions that like maybe if you have never like really interacted with AWS, you might be asking your question like, what is AWS? So AWS is an Amazon Web Services, which has been started and then some couple of years back where Amazon.com website, they wanted to run the platform, they wanted to run their e-commerce website in a platform which can actually enable them to innovate and scale and grow much faster because like they were experiencing like the high demand and then from the customers, and then their current infrastructure, it was not really ready to accommodate the demand that they were getting and then from the customers. So that's why like and then the AWS and then it was born, which was started from as an internal IT project, and then from there it grow until it become like a public where now we do have like a customers that are accessing AWS in the public space. So AWS is currently like available in more than like 240 countries, territories around the world. So some of the benefits that like we can actually see that they stand out by deploying your application in the cloud. We are looking at like a running a low cost. So the low cost that will be like actually like you only pay for what you use. So you not necessarily need to have like the upfront investment where you need to spend a lot of money to invest in order to deploy your application. Then the next one, it will be more around the elasticity and the agility. So the elasticity and the agility, if I'm talking about the elasticity is like if your application, you are experiencing the high demand and then from your customers, the AWS will actually able to scale in order to accommodate the demand instead of like your application crashing and failing, but it will scale and accommodate you in a demand which is coming in and from the customers. So that will also apply to the agility to say that now if you want to alter your applications, it can offer you the changes instead of like going out and then you buy the servers, which can actually really take time. So you can spin up and then the new server, you can spin up like a new services, you try it, and if it works for you, and if it doesn't work, you can actually able to shut it down, which it give you the opportunity for you to fail faster. You know. So those are the benefits that like I'm actually looking at showing you now, which is coming from the AWS. So the open and the flexibility is also another good benefit that you can actually get from using AWS, which is like the open, it will be looking at like for you, you'll be able to access like most of like the software which are open source. If I can name some of them, it's like looking at MySQL, the Postgres, where you don't necessarily need to pay less and then to run those database engine. So that will actually really give you like the flexibility in your application. So when you deploy your application in AWS, you also enjoy like the security which is coming like with the AWS security expert, because now we do have the model where we say that we've got the share responsibility model. So on the secure part, we make sure that the infrastructure where you deploy your applications are secured and make sure that they are more like a redundant, which is like the physical security and the online security. On your side, what you're responsible for is to secure your application. And then the last benefit that I have here is around the global reach. So now you do have an application which is successful that you've already deployed in Mozambique, but you do realize that there is a demand coming in from Europe. So you don't necessarily need to go and buy some servers and install it somewhere in Europe in a remote location, but you can actually leverage some of the regions that I'm going to show with you. So that will give you the capability for you to go to the globally in a few minutes without you having to fly there and set up the new data center that you can deploy your applications. So what really set the AWS apart, So as you can see here, I'm just going to be sharing you this like a services, which is talking about like and then the security. So as I said before, like when we come to security, we apply the model which we call it the shared responsibility model. It means that your application that is being deployed in the cloud, you are actually sharing the responsibility with AWS to make sure that it's secured. So you'll make sure that your application is running and it's secured on the site. But with the AWS, we make sure that the infrastructure is ready for you to be run your application and it's secure, and we continue to monitor the security, which is like using the physical cameras, using like the security guard on site where like our data centers are, to make sure that your application is secure. So that is another benefit that like really set the AWS upon. And then we do have like a number of like services that like that goes up to like the analytics, the machine learning, as you have seen there from the previous video where we're talking about the ground stations, like where we are expanding around the telco, we're talking about like an the 5G. So we continue to increase in terms of like the services, but these services are currently based on like what the customer want. So we'll actually really listen to the customers and innovate on behalf of the customer. So these services, they're always there, which will continue to innovate on behalf of the customer. So currently we have like more than 1 million customers that are currently using the AWS. So this is like since when the AWS it was launched in 2006, and we continue to see more customers going to use AWS. They are continuously coming to AWS because of like these benefits, and as you can see, what set AWS apart. Then our global footprint, we currently have like more than 87 availability zone. Then we continue to add more regions. As you can see, like now we currently like have like a 27 geographical regions. One of the closer region which we have like here, which is closer to Mozambique, is the Cape Town region, which is currently having like a 3 availability zone. So that is like one of the region which can be like a closer. But now, if you don't want to deploy some of the application in the Cape Town region, you can actually use other regions which might be in Europe or any other area where you see your traffic is coming from or where your customers are based. And we know one thing when you come into the machine learning, it's actually like now the skills, and then we do have a huge skills gap, and then in a market where we don't necessarily have like a people who are skilled around the machine learning. But with AWS, and then we do innovate on behalf of the customer. So we do have some machine learning where you don't necessarily need to code, but you can just call that service as an API. So you don't necessarily need to have like the qualified machine learning engineer on your side in order to help you to deploy the machine learning. So this is one of the benefits that like it can actually help you to innovate faster, since like AWS, they already have like these capabilities in the cloud. And then we also like are not really working alone, but we've created like the ecosystem, which is coming from the Amazon partner network, then including some of like the site integration. This can be also like talking about like the training partners, which can actually really help you to train you in the AWS services if you are starting as new. The other nice feature, or which we also like have, is a marketplace. So the marketplace, it offer like a more than 50 categories of like the services, where as a customer you can go and choose the service and you buy it from the marketplace and then you start running it. So which actually like remove some kind of like the overhead when you come into the procurement. So that is like one thing that really like set AWS and then apart. And then AWS is actually like at the enterprise lead. So every year we always like looking at a different report which has been like done by the independent researchers. So we do have like one report which is done by the Gartner. So the Gartner, they produce the report which is showing that AWS is one of like the enterprise leader, which when it's coming to the AWS or the cloud computing. So this is like has been happening for more than 11 years consecutive. So that is one like of the things that like really set AWS and then apart. Then on our pricing philosophy, like we always like make sure that we innovate on behalf of the customer. Then we always like try to get like the customer and then the value for their money. So we always like reducing then the price. There's no way like in so since 2006, we've like reduced and then our prices more than like 115 times, and we pass back all those savings back and then to our customers. So this is like one of like the nice benefits. And then when you come into our pricing philosophy, and then we do also have some other pricing models in terms of like our infrastructure, where the customer, they can actually like see a huge savings. Let's say, for example, you already know that your e-commerce website is going to run at a certain capacity. So you can make use of like the on-demand instances where you make the commitment to say that I'm going to be using this computing power for the minimum of 1 year or the minimum of 3 years. And then that's why like now you're going to also like see more like of like the savings, and then as you make then the commitment. So these are some of like the philosophies and then that we have, and then in terms of like the pricing. And then we also do have like something called like the savings plan and the reserve instances. The reserve instances, it also goes back to where like I was talking about, like where you can actually save for the amount that you spend on demand. But now if you just let's say want to try something and then for a week, and then we also give you that options where you can just go to the on demand, you try your application, and after that you can shut it down without like really having to have a long-term commitment. So we do have like a different pricing model which is like supported for the different variable workload. So your workload that you know that you want to run it for the period of time, maybe for a week, you can actually have the infrastructure to run for that. So we are more customer obsessed on an AWS. So what does it mean being a customer obsessed? We always like innovating on behalf of the customer. So what we say that like more than 90% of the services, they are originated and then from the customer request. So as a customer, you want to innovate, you want to do something, and then a person like someone like me or anyone else, they will be listening and then to your request, and will like listen to what you want, and we'll take that back and then feedback it to the engineering team, and we innovate on behalf of the customer. So that is like another benefit and then that we have. So as we are saying that 90% of like the services, they are originated, or the roadmap, they are originated from the customer request. So that's where like now the NASDAQ, and then they were giving you the code and then to say like now they find it like a very much easy to work with us, like as we always like and then give them the support. So you can see like what AWS is like really like helping them. So which is now they are quoting one of like the service that we have, which called the Amazon Redshift, which is they say they've managed to see the jump and then from like a 13 billion record and then to 70 billion record, which is like a huge increase in terms of like a dealing with the data. But we always strive to give the best and then to the customer as we are customer obsessed. As you can see that we say like now more than 90% of our roadmap are originated and then from the customer. So the other part where we are coming to AWS, we know that the sustainability is actually the very important change as we are facing with the issue of like the climate change. So AWS is actually part of like the pledge, which is saying that we are committed and then to consume or to use the cleaner energy. So our AWS infrastructure is like a 3 times more energy efficient, which means that like now we do use like the cleaner energy, the green energy, where we're looking at using the solar system, we're using like the wind system to generate and then the electricity, which is like running our data centers. So as you can see that now the commitment that we have, like we are committed to lower the carbon footprint, and most of our data centers were continuously like powering them using the greener energy. So as you use the AWS, you know that like you're also part of like this initiative to reduce the carbon footprint. So the carbon footprint, and then that will be another area. And then the other area, it will be like now, how efficient are we like when we're coming and into the usage of water? So we do use like our water, we do use water to do the cooling and improve like our data center operation. But however, we also like reduce the water usage in terms of like now when we're looking at some of the benefits that we use, we say like now for the efficiency and then for the cooling our data center, we can use the different technology which is like also reduce the water usage and recycle the cooling water, so that like now we don't continuously like using the water that can be used for something else. And then we invest also in the water infrastructure so that we make sure that like our data center are more efficient in terms of like the usage of water. So looking at like the services that we have, and then when coming to the global reach, then as we say that we currently like have like a 27 regions that are currently launched. So the 27 regions that you can see here, so those are the pink regions that when you see those pink dots, those are the regions that are currently live that you can currently use and then right now. But those orange ones that you see there, those are the regions that we have announced that they will be coming to live. And those regions, once they're live, and then we'll announce them, you can start like using them once they are available. So the regions are also made of like the availability zone. So as we say that one region is made of like a minimum of 1 or more data centers which are connected logically together. So as you deploy your application in the region, you are necessarily like deploying into minimum of 1 availability zone. So as you can see here, I've put an illustration of the US East one, which is the North Virginia. Currently, it's got more than 3 availability zones, but I've only used like only 3 availability zones just to illustrate. So as you deploy your application, you can choose to deploy it across all those 3 availability zones, which is gonna increase like your redundancy of your availability of your application. And then we also like make use of like the high-speed network, which is connecting this availability zone. So you're not gonna like really have like a latency of like more than 10 milliseconds. Then these availability zones, they are also physically separated, so they are not located in one place. This will like reduce the failure, which it can be like being a natural disaster. If it can strike in a certain geographical area, you're not gonna be like really get affected, because if your application is deployed across multiple availability zone, and you can like still continue to operate in a different availability zone. Then on top of like the availability zone, we do have something called like and then the point of presence, or the POP. So the point of presence, that's where they are running our Amazon CloudFront, which is like our CDN. So the CDN is a content delivery network. So currently in Africa, we do have like 2 3 CDNs. As you can see there, we have one in Cape Town, one in Johannesburg, and another one in Nairobi. So this is actually like help you to catch the content closer to the user. If like you've got like a live video streaming services, you can actually use this CDN to deliver those live video streaming services. You can actually catch like the static content and then closer to the user. If you've got like the website which is like a publishing pictures or any other articles where people they go and download, you can actually use these services. So we continue to add on our infrastructure and expand on our infrastructure to cover more than areas. So on top of that, we do have something called and then the direct connect locations. So the direct connect locations, as I've added like at the green dots there, the direct connect locations, they will be giving you the access to the cloud. So now you are currently running your applications in the data center, but now you've got the plan to move to the cloud. When you are planning to move to the cloud, then you can have the requirement to connect your application on the data center and then together with the one in the cloud. So that way you make use of like the direct connect. So now the direct connect, and then you'll have to run the physical network and then to those locations. So as you can see there, like running from Mozambique, you do have like one closer to you, which is in Johannesburg, and then the other one, and then in Cape Town, which might be like a little bit far away and then from you. So that will be like not much more of an option, but now we do have one closer to you, which is in Johannesburg. And then you can also choose to use both of them for the redundancy purpose if you do require to have that kind of like a level of a redundancy. So after that, this is the illustration and then showing you to say like how are we connecting. So these connections, as you see with this white line, these are the AWS and then fibers that we are running. Some of them, they are going under the sea, and then some they are through the land, which they connect these data centers. So now as you are deploying your application in Cape Town, and then you do have like the backup running maybe in Europe, you don't necessarily need to run your physical or lease the line between Cape Town and Europe. You just like choose and then the other region, which can be like your secondary region for your disaster recovery. So this is some of the benefits that we have from the AWS infrastructure. So you can actually like really enjoy this. So EC2 is being one of like our first service, which has been like a design and innovated and then from Cape Town. So the EC2 is running most of like our backbone. So hence I choose and then to show like some of like the EC2 component to say now, what are we doing to innovate on behalf of the customer and then for the EC2. So the EC2, our Amazon EC2 is our virtual instance machine or is our virtual server. So if you have to look at the physical server, but now we do have like something which is virtual, which means that you can actually create it in the cloud within a minute and you can terminate it whenever that you don't want it, and you can always upgrade it to the bigger version or to the smaller version. But now when we're looking at the trend, we also like realize there are more need and then to move to the microservices. So we do have like the services that are supporting the microservices, which is the Amazon ECS, the EKS, and then the Fargate. So the Amazon Elastic Compute Services or Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Services, they are also using the EC2 on the background and then to run those container services. But now we also like take care of like managing those control plane. Then the next innovation that we've done there is to run like your workload on the Fargate. So when we run it on the Fargate, we take care of like managing your compute, which is running your application. So you don't necessarily need to worry much about the clusters that are running on behind for those EC2s. So you can actually focus on your application. And then from there, we've got the other one, which is the Amazon Lambda. So the Amazon Lambda is a serverless computing platform where you just deploy your code and then we take care of all the infrastructure. So this is actually really reduce the operational overhead because like now you're only like looking after the code. So your code, it will only run whenever that is being triggered. So your code, it need a trigger. And then when it triggered, it's going to run and it's going to execute all the instruction that you want it to execute, and it will stop. From there, it's going to wait for the next instruction and then for it to run. So by doing that, you actually like save costs because now you don't necessarily need to have like your compute always running, even if like you don't have any functions to perform. So that will like actually really give you a lot of savings in terms of like the cost. So our Amazon EC2, it's actually like running like a different operating system. So first of all, what you see there, we do support the Linux, which can be like a different type of a version of the Linux, the Red Hat, CentOS, and Ubuntu, and the Amazon Linux. Then we also do have some of the operating system running for the Windows and the Mac. So if you want to run some applications, you want to develop some application in the Mac, you can actually access the Amazon EC2 running the Mac operating system. And then we do have like number of like a different architecture. As you can see there, we do have the ARM and the x86 and then architecture. So this is actually important for your application to understand the different architecture that we are running for the processors. Then most of our EC2, they have been divided and grouped based on the task that you want to run. So we do have some of them that are focused on a general purpose, and the workload, which is like a specialized workload, which can be like at the machine learning or maybe like at the video graphic. So we do have like at those EC2s that are dedicated for those special workload. And then we also have like, if you've got the requirement, which might be like a coming based from the different license, we can actually have like at the bare metal a server running on our data center, which are dedicated and then to you. So here's some of the processors that you can actually choose from. As you can see that we've been working with Intel and Navid, AMD. Then the nice one that I want to share with you, it's actually like, or the latest one, it will be like the Amazon Graviton processor, the AM1. So the Amazon Graviton processor is the innovations of like Amazon Web Services, where we've designed this processor in order to optimize and then the workload, which is actually consuming low power, and it's actually much faster as compared to the other processors. So we have innovated and then from Graviton 1, Graviton 2, and then we move and then to the next one, which we call it and then the Graviton 3. So the Graviton 2, it's actually giving you like 7 times performance. And as you can see there on the Graviton 3, we've got some much more better performance, where you see there's an increase in terms of like the performance. So this is some of the innovations that we'll continue to do on behalf of our customer, which we are enhancing the performance and also reducing and then the price. So when coming to choosing like the infrastructure that you're going to run your application, it's actually very important to understand the type of an infrastructure that you're running. So as you are saying that if your infrastructure is more like on the graphical side, you can actually choose the instances which is like a design for that and accelerate or graphical user in graphic GPU acceleration. Then if you want to deploy some machine learning inference, and then you can actually use that one, which we always innovate on behalf of the customer, and we always reduce and then the price, which you can say that you can have up to savings up to like a 75%. So this is actually very much easy for you to manage, since you can integrate with other services that we have like that are running for the machine learning. So the services like the SageMaker instances, you can actually attach it there. And the other part is actually looking at to say now, if let's say now you've got some kind of like a growth in your application, you can actually able to scale up and scale down, and which can actually really happen much faster. So as like I was sharing with you, the type of like the operating system that we do currently support. Then I've like just highlighted some of like the operating system from the Windows Server that we support from 2012, then all the way to 2022. And then the Amazon Linux and the different number of like the operating system. And then as you can see there, so the current Mac one, it also includes the M1 Mac instances, which is the current or more recent microprocessor or the architecture that they have there on the processor. So initially, like I said with you, that you say like we do have like a number of like a services. So when coming to our EC2, which is more of like the fundamental way the AWS is started, we currently have like more than 500 type of like the instances. So these instances, they are giving you the options and the flexibility for you to choose the one that can actually really work well for the workload that you are running. So we do have like a different instances, as you can see there, from like the categories that we say that from the general purpose, stable compute intensity, the GPU, compute, the graphic intensity, and the storage. Based on like the application that you want, you can actually like really choose the current one, the correct one that will actually like really help you to run your application. So looking at the capabilities, then we do have like a number of like a processors that you can actually make the choice from. You can like have the processors that are up to 5 to that's faster, that up to 4.5 gigahertz, then which is like a really actual much faster. And also, like as you can see, the memory that you can actually add up to 24 TB. Then you can also optimize and then your storage, then by the choice, and then where you can say like I want like my instances which is like a more storage optimized, and then you can actually look at an acceleration computer graphical user depending on like your application as well. So the other part, and then is also around the networking and the bare metal. So the bare metal, if like your license, it currently require you to run your application in a bare metal, you can actually have that kind of a choice and then to say that this is what like I want to do to run it on the bare metal. Then all the way to those other options and then that you have. So this is what like I wanted to share with you in terms of like the current infrastructure that we are having and then in AWS. Then that's it. And then for today, so as my name is Renan Chiwangan, and thank you for offering me this time and then to share with you around the AWS infrastructure services that we have.
Thank you, Randan. We was here looking at your presentation. What an amazing things you guys are doing. Interesting. I think our team, our hackathon teams here will be interested to understand more about what you are doing. So we don't have questions as yet, but as soon as we have anything, we'll make sure you get the questions and you get them answered.
Okay, thank you for affording me time and wish all the hackers and a good luck and happy innovation.
Saying thank you in name of all of them. Ok, tivemos então a nossa sessão com a AWS, muito interessante realmente o que eles fazem. Estamos muito próximos do fecho e quero só fazer aqui uma breve recapitulação do que nós tivemos a fazer esta manhã. Tivemos brevemente o Simon e o Keys, que vieram dar boas-vindas aos nossos hackers e que encontram-se neste momento super busy, criando o futuro, que é alguma coisa que teremos oportunidade de ver quando fizerem o pitch muito em breve. Isto será na quarta-feira, sim. Então, tivemos a seguir o Marco, falou-nos de cybersecurity. É muito importante que todas as soluções que estão a ser desenvolvidas realmente tenham conexão com tudo que nós estamos a fazer em termos de segurança cibernética. O Marco falou-nos um pouco sobre a necessidade de estarmos todos a aprender, como ele mesmo dizia, está em processo de aprender e esta área de coding não é muito o campo dele, então estamos todos a criar o futuro enquanto aprendemos. Tivemos o Benon é da Accenture, ele falou-nos muito brevemente sobre o experimento que eles estão a fazer em termos do M-Pesa, muito interessante, porque o que eles imaginam é uma situação em que eu posso estar a usar o M-Pesa em todos os países onde realmente tem, sem precisar estar a trocar o meu número. Acho que é uma coisa muito interessante e acho que temos todos que ir verificar o que é que isto significa e entender muito bem. Depois tivemos a Luísa falou-nos de Internet of Things, muita coisa a ser feita na área de Internet of Things, desde a questão de garantir que todos os parceiros necessários para que estes projetos andem todos estão on board, a questão de energia, etc, etc. Muito obrigado, Luísa, por esta apresentação magnífica. E a Luísa encontra-se na sala, certamente a ver os nossos hackers em ação. E acabamos de ter aqui uma conversa também bem interessante, uma apresentação interessante da AWS. Uma coisa que me ficou como outstanding é a questão de, ok, não preciso, se tenho uma aplicação que está a ter uma demanda num outro país, não há necessidade de eu ter servidores lá nesse país, é só ter aqui uma conexão com a AWS, que provavelmente eu já consigo estar em qualquer canto só no toque de um botão. É se calhar uma mensagem muito interessante esta para os nossos hackers, para verificarem das soluções que eles têm, que conexão fariam com a AWS. Pronto, nós tivemos aí alguns games, tivemos 2 games que correram na tela e tenho o prazer de anunciar que já temos um vencedor ou uma vencedora. O que se passa é que não vamos estar a dizer hoje quem é. Os vencedores todos serão conhecidos na quarta-feira, então garantam que continuam a participar. Os prêmios que temos para os games que estávamos a fazer são muito interessantes, então ninguém vai querer perder. Façam o favor de continuar ligados e participar de todos eles. Temos aí no site onde estão a assistir a esta live, lá mais para baixo, se fizerem o scroll down, conseguem encontrar um sítio onde podem clicar o hit no start e coloquem as vossas selfies. Vamos garantir também que a melhor selfie ou as melhores selfies têm um prize muito interessante. Este evento não seria possível sem os nossos parceiros, então tenho a anunciar aqui mais 2 vídeos que vão passar dos nossos parceiros, mas antes dos vídeos passarem, gostaria de informar que a nossa emissão vai fechar por aqui hoje, mas amanhã estamos de novo juntos aqui, porque o hackathon não terminou. Os nossos colegas estão na sala, hacking, a criar o futuro, mas amanhã estaremos aqui de novo para uma interação de algumas horas e na quarta-feira temos a apresentação dos projetos e onde vamos ter o projeto que vai nos representar a nível de África, né? Então, desta sala vai sair quem irá nos representar nesta Liga das Nações. Como sabem, a África do Sul já tem um representante de um nome muito interessante. Depois temos os nossos representantes que têm que sair desta sala e a apresentação final será feita em dezembro. Então, muito obrigado por nos acompanharem. Vamos ter agora os vídeos dos nossos parceiros, a Nokia e a Oracle. So, for those who are still here, I want to say that we are closing, but tomorrow we'll be together again. Make sure you come, please, and keep playing. And we are closing with Nokia and Oracle videos. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
By 2030, the world as we know it will be dramatically transformed. The metaverse will open up endless opportunities across consumer, enterprise, and industrial sectors. Digital physical fusion and human augmentation will transform how people interact in a combined physical and digital reality. None of this will be possible without the network. It will need to become more intelligent, dynamic, scalable, and secure, evolving to enable a rich multi-party value ecosystem that will unleash innovation and opportunity, creating sustainable solutions to some of the world's biggest challenges, all made possible through Nokia's innovations. This is our vision for 2030. Together, we're creating the future.